Good evening. My name is Edward Sanshin Oberholzer. I'm the resident priest and guiding teacher for the Joseph Priestley Zen Sangha in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. We're an affiliate of Empty Moon Zen. James Joyce, the Irish poet, novelist, and, to many, obfuscator, ends his final novel with "Away, alone, alas, aloved, along the," which circles back to the very beginning of his cryptic masterpiece, Finnegan's Wake, to connect with the opening lines. River run, past Eve and Adams, from swerve of shore to bend of bay, brings us by a commodious vicus of recirculation back to Haworth Castle and environs. An epic curve circling around and then running back through to the very end, tracing the River Liffey and the bay in the Irish Sea opening onto Dublin. A kind of literary Mobius strip between two hardcovers, circling in on itself through infinite verbal curves, all 667 pages worth. Now, out of the seemingly infinite library of Zen texts, we have in a group we call the miscellaneous koans, a koan that simply instructs you to go straight on a road with 99 curves. Yes, go straight through that verbal maze of Finnegan's Wake and find yourself back at the beginning, a part of that eternal recurrence of Vico and Nietzsche, reading straight through all those twists and turns. Step out of the book and take up a map of the coastline, the California coastline, better yet, the New England coastline, more coves, more inlets, more bays. Perhaps best of all, and more to the Joycean example, the coast of Ireland, Dublin Bay, and the sinuous turns of that River Liffey. Measure a map of that coast with a ruler, say a 12-inch ruler. Set the map to the scale of 10 miles to an inch. Watch as the ruler skirts over the details of the coast. Measure 360 miles, 3 rulers worth. Now, take a new map with double the scale and measure again, watching the ruler slip into the broad bays it had passed over before. The distance covered expands. Double the scale again and again and again, and as the map scale increases, the distance between the original starting point and stopping point increases as the ruler finds more and more of the coast's indentations. Finally, you can follow the Borges lead and find a map whose scale is 1 mile to 1 mile, 1 foot to 1 foot, 1 point to 1 point, an exact copy of the ground beneath, and now the foot-long ruler works its way along the waterline, in and out of rocks and pebbles. The smaller the ruler in relation to the map, the greater the distance, increasing until you're adding up the space between atoms. The gift of Benoit Mandelbrot, the father of fractal geometry, a coastline that expands to the infinite, curve upon curve. 99 curves? 999? 9,999. More? Shifting for a moment to the comic, one of my favorite Far Side cartoons shows an out-of-place physicist standing in front of a blackboard lecturing a class filled with animal husbandry students, presumably at an ag school somewhere in the Midwest. He points to a large circle on the blackboard and says, as only a physicist would, "Consider a spherical cow of radius r." If If the only tool you have is a hammer, then every job looks like a nail. If the only tool you have is physics, every cow is a spherical cow. Fractal coastlines, cows, rulers, and the laws of physics. How do you go straight on a road with 99 curves? A ruler's not going to help you. Neither solid geometry, nor Newton, nor Schrodinger. Useful though they may be, they won't help either. Traveling down that rocky coastline, running that ruler down that map, herding those spherical cows. So how do you go straight? And is there any road, any path in life without 99 curves? Cradle to grave with all the twists and turns along the way? I didn't quite know what was ahead when I graduated from high school. I hadn't done much to go along with my test scores and was heading off to Michigan State University, if only because they would take me, no questions asked. A couple of days before graduation, my father was fired from his job. That was the first turn. He took it upon himself to go to the New Jersey Board of Higher Education, seeking scholarship money for me, only to be told that they wouldn't give out financial aid to students going out of state. But look, what a coincidence. Stevens Institute of Technology just happens to have a slot open. Maybe your son would like to go up and interview. And so I found myself in Hoboken, studying chemistry, but longing for the liberal arts. Yet another turn. I managed to drive that particular academic career into the ground and moved on to Boston. One curve after another. 98, 99, Boston University, Suffolk Law School, Library School, Zen. 99 curves, all leading past Eve and Adams by a commodious recirculation, back to Haworth Castle and environs, or at least back to Cambridge. Straight on up to right here in this moment, in this spot. Several years ago, my daughter and I took a road trip, driving from Oakland, California to Washington, D.C., a way to get her to graduate school and to practice driving on the open road, all in one fell swoop. Did you know that if you follow Route 10 across Texas, the last mile marker as you prepare to enter Louisiana is mile number 999? Driving straight across, 999 curves. And that's just Texas. Jenny had passed her driver's test the morning we flew her out of Boston to go to UC Berkeley. She didn't drive again for 4 years, and had only just started up again fitfully the year she worked before going back to grad school. A 3,000-mile drive through the desert appeared to be just what was needed to get her back in the saddle or behind the wheel. So we drove straight across the desert, white-knuckling the whole way, all 99 curves, all 999 curves, all 9,999 curves, all 3,000 miles, in and out of that great snaking fractal line that is Route 10, 1 mile at a time, one step at a time, one curve at a time from swerve of shore. Those 99 curves are an invitation to saunter, to take your time, straight and curved, to gaze about you. Our lives can be tangled messes with curves that twist without end until we get there. J.R.R. Tolkien liked to remind us that not all those who wander are lost, but we can all wander that road and go straight through those 99 curves. Thank you.